Weather for Weather Geeks time. Here we are Thursday evening. It is what is today? The 10th day of August. Hard to believe, a third of the way through August. Some schools are starting soon. Canfield Fair is a few weeks away. The Browns are playing a preseason home game tonight. Some signs that the seasons are a-changin'. Let's talk a little bit about the seasons and what we refer to as the meteorological seasons. Of course, summer is June, July, and August in this sense. And we'll be halfway through August here in a handful of days. And our average high does drop down to 80 over the next couple of days after spending a couple of weeks at 81. We only lost a degree off those average highs over the last few weeks, but the pace in which these lower accelerates certainly as we go into late August and into September. By the final day of August, our average high down 2 degrees, down to 78. And well, just for fun, let's look at autumn, which is coming up. And yeah, it's a real quick slide once we get into the autumn season. By the end of September, our average highs are back in the mid-60s, and that hard to believe that's only about 6 weeks away. All right, enough bad news for many people who aren't ready to give up summer. Let's talk about how today went. We did have a little wet weather today. This is a 6-hour radar loop showing the passing showers we had earlier on. As I record this at 7:47 this evening, there's a couple of spritzes and showers here and there, but these are going to fade away pretty quickly this evening and will be dry, if not fairly cloudy, for the overnight. Now, the rain did not amount to much locally today. 0.07 Hermitage, a couple of hundredths in Mercer and in downtown Youngstown, 100th at my house in Boardman, 0.02 Canfield and Latonia. So any rain that pushed through was on the light side. Now, you may have noticed it was more humid out there this afternoon compared to recent days. Dew points started this morning in the comfortable mid-50s, but rose into the mid-60s by mid-afternoon today, so that made it a noticeable change, certainly. Taking a broad view of the lower 48 states, not much to write home about here. It's not a hot map for August. 98 in Dallas, that's pretty hot, but for them, that's kind of par for the course in August. Same thing in Phoenix, 102, no big deal to them. In the summertime season, we're at 72 here in the 7 o'clock hour in Youngstown. All right, your Friday promised to be sort of cloudy at times, maybe some intervals of sun. I think the best chance of wet weather comes pretty late in the day. Shower and thunderstorm possibility, particularly dinner time and onwards. This front is a weak one, but it does have lower humidity behind it. So while the temperature change is negligible, I do think the humidity will lower behind this. Not necessarily first thing Saturday morning, but more so as we get into the midday and the afternoon. And after clouds dominate early Saturday, it turns out to be a fairly sunny day. We'll call it partly sunny on average on Saturday. Secondary little trough of low pressure will pivot through the region Saturday night, Sunday morning, bringing back some clouds. Might be some fog in here as well. But any stratus clouds or fog will clear out as high pressure continues building in from the west. And I think Sunday afternoon will be fantastic. Backing up and taking a look at our hour-by-hour rain chances on your Friday. Again, pretty low until we get into the evening. I might have to adjust these a little bit before 21 News at 11 tonight. Might bring those higher chances, those 60% chances, back a couple of hours towards 7 or 8. Not sure about that yet. Need to look at some new data before the 11 o'clock show tonight. All right, let's have some model fun and games here as we go into the longer range. We'll start with next week. Again, next week, pretty nice overall. Here's Monday. Now, the modeling has been kind of fooling around here with Monday. The European model has been trying to bring some moisture in on Monday while the GFS has been dry all along. I'm showing you the GFS model here. It continues to paint a dry picture, and the most recent run of the European model also keeps most of the moisture south on Monday. Now, I introduced a small chance of an afternoon shower just in case on Monday, but at this point, I think the models are starting to come into better agreement that Monday will be fine. And then Tuesday and Wednesday looking good. Here's Tuesday, nothing going on. Wednesday, same idea as a fresh area of high pressure builds in. Now, we're 11 days away from the eclipse. And to show you some challenges when we're looking at the longer range, and we run into this before Christmas or other major holidays. Once we get 10 days to 2 weeks out, people start wondering, hey, can we hang our hat on anything weather-wise for this holiday or this event. Here's just an example of the challenges we have in front of us. Here's the GFS model for Sunday morning the 20th, the day before the eclipse. That's the most recent run. Here's the run before that. They look nothing alike. This one has a front coming through on Sunday. That's a cold front. And the previous run of exactly the same model says there's no such cold front around. And, this is the kind of thing that meteorologists see all the time on days 8, 9, and 10 and beyond. the models just, you know, kind of flip-flop a lot, and from one run to the next, they might have a totally different idea. So when we're in the 10-day, 11-day, 12-day range, we can't honestly put out a forecast with any sort of specificity most of the time, with very few exceptions. So what's the temperature going to be? What's the cloud cover going to be? Is it going to rain the day of the eclipse? We're not good enough to do that yet. Maybe later on in my career we will be, but in most situations we're not there yet. Here's a look at some of the modeling for the day of the eclipse. Now, we're not looking at the surface features here. You're not seeing rain on this map or anything. This is upstairs in the atmosphere, up at 18,000 feet. And we look for ridges and troughs and general patterns. You know, again, no specifics. Is it going to rain? What are the clouds going to do? But more general patterns. I showed you this last night as well. This is the GFS showing a ridge parked right here over parts of Texas. A trough on the west coast, and just sort of a gentle northwesterly flow. Not a hot-looking map for us on the day of the eclipse from the GFS. Here's a look at the European, pretty similar. So there is some agreement on the modeling as far as the general pattern goes, and that pattern would suggest it's not going to be real hot. That pattern would suggest that a ridge is not right overhead, so not only will it not be real hot, it's unlikely to be the kind of what we call death ridge sometimes that just keeps clouds and precipitation completely away. There's no chance for rain because, you know, it's we got a mega ridge overhead. We don't see that on the modeling. What can we discern? Well, not much. Gentle northwest flow can either mean dry air, or it could mean thunderstorm complexes that sometimes kind of cascade down these down the tops of these ridges. You know, here's the ridge right here, denoted by the H for high pressure, and sometimes you get thunderstorm complexes riding along the top edge of that. You know, it could go either way right now. So that's the day of the eclipse. In other words, we don't know what's going to happen. The longer range, it's Thursday night, so we can look at the latest European long range modeling, showing some cool anomalies again for the next 10 to 14 days. And I've been talking about this for a while now, how I think the second half of August promises to be the hotter half of the month. And this, you know, has a similar idea. Here's the 14 to 21 day outlook. Finally seeing some orange colors around the Great Lakes and Northeast, indicating that there's a better chance of above average temperatures as we go out towards that second half of August. All right, as far as the eclipse weather goes, once we get in within the 6 to 7 day range, we're going to have a much better idea as to chances for rain and that sort of thing. You know, eclipses are tough. It could be a nice day, but we have some fair weather cumulus clouds around, and right at 2:30, when we're about to hit our maximum eclipse, we could have a band of cumulus clouds cover up the sun. You know, we want a crystal clear day, but those are details that we won't have until almost the last minute. But as far as the generalities, will it be hot? What are the chances of rain? We'll start getting much more of a clue early on next week. This is the last weather for Weather Geeks until the day of the eclipse, because I'm on vacation starting tomorrow. Now, I am going to be on vacation, but I will be posting some eclipse-related videos on my social media, Facebook and Twitter, and you can look for those on WFMJ.com and probably our app as well. Next week, they'll be posting in my absence. But you won't see me on the news starting tomorrow for 10 days, and no more weather for Weather Geeks until the 21st. So thanks as always for watching. Have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great week next week. Can't wait to join all of you for the eclipse on Monday the 21st, hoping for a great day weather-wise. Even if it's cloudy, it should still be really, really cool. All right, thanks as always for watching once again, everyone, and I'll see you in 10 days.